Yeah, I mean that's Virat Kohli and the way that he operates. I think you've just mentioned the first Test match. He was very placid, very nice. Even giving the England captain a stretch when he had a bit of cramp.
He did.
Virat, for the years that he's been captain of the team, has got this kind of mentality and buzz and energy that is in the opposing players' faces. He's been that this week, and
he's a brave.
I think he goes looking for that. I think he needs it for his game, and I think the fact that there's a crowd there, you can see him geeing up the crowd again. It works in India's favour, and this is going to be very, very difficult for England. I know it's the pink ball game next week, but once India get this bee in the bonnet, and they like to think that things are against them. I think they like the confrontation of people saying the pitch isn't good enough. I think they like the fact that they think that people are talking about the umpiring, and they like the fact that they probably don't love the fact they're 1-0 down, but they play good cricket when they're 1-0 down. You only have to go back to that Australian series. So it's danger times for the England team. So far for 3 days, the pitch has done plenty, but the Indian players have been more skilled at playing on this kind of surface. They've got better players and more batters that can cope with the spinning ball, and India's spinners are better on these kind of wickets. They fire it in quicker, they're more consistent, they've got better variations. Axar Patel's just shown that in that spell there. That ball that's skidding onto the right handers, then the one that spits past the outside edge. If you watch Jack Leach, he's bowled nicely, but it's all very similar. It's all just going past the outside edge with a little bit of loop, where Axar Patel is just firing it in at great pace, which makes it near on impossible to bat against. England, there's not a great deal of positives they can take, other than just trying to bat as long as they can and hope that one or two individuals get decent scores to take a bit of confidence into the third Test match.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, but I think if you take a step back and understand that this week it's not been a good week for the England team, but at the end of it, if you just kind of take a day or two to have a breather, which they're going to have, they're going to have a day or so off, aren't they? It's not going to go till the fifth day, and then realise that they're 1-1 in a 4-match series.
Yeah.
I think at the start of the series, if you'd have said to me, by the way, by the time they get to that pink ball game, it's 1-1, I'd have laughed. I'd have said, no chance, not in these conditions. England can't win a Test. Well, they won in the series after this week, so there's a great positive. I think getting on a plane and getting to a new venue, you've mentioned it, new hotel. I know they can't go out and see things, but just having a different room to look at, a different ground, different dressing room, that can give you a little bit of a lift. They've been at this ground pretty much now for 2.5, 3 weeks, so I think that'll just give them a mental kind of freshen up, but it's not going to be easy. This Indian side, once they get onto this kind of roll, you only have to look at the history of the last 20-odd years. Not many teams go to India and beat them. And generally when they get on a roll like this, they're very, very difficult to stop. He's an artist, isn't he?
Yeah. Behind
the stumps. He just is it's a pleasure to watch. I mean, it's not often that I, get in too excited about wicket keepers. I kind of go, you got the gloves on, you should be able to catch it. But when you're watching someone like Ben Foakes, who makes it look so easy, and of course he's missed a couple of. I know what you're laughing at on the screen.
It's
Pujara's run out, stumping or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but when you've got someone delivering a skill that's so difficult. And he's doing it with such speed, and the technical side. I have no clue about the technical side of keeping, but I can see when a keeper has got everything pretty much spot on, and that's what Ben Foakes has got. I mean, England going forward, they've got so many options and so many kind of choices. Could you keep Ben Foakes at 7 as the wicketkeeper, the batsman, Butler bats at 6, and then you question about who bats number 3 or who joins Dom Sibley, Rory Burns, is it? Zach Crawley opens the batting, can Ollie Pope bat 3, Bairstow bat 3? England are starting to get a lot of options, but I just think it's almost sometimes, I guess, that you get too many options.
Well, I agree with you.
And too many questions. And I understand bubble life and it's not easy, but I'm going to keep going on about it, that I'm staggered that England have made so many changes, haven't gone 1-0 up in a series. I'm absolutely staggered. You 1-0 up against India on the same venue and there's 4 changes. Jofra Archer injured, I get that. But to have 4 changes in the next game, 3 days after winning a Test match on the same venue, I just think they've just got to be very, very careful that they're not becoming too scientific as a selection group. They're not looking at too much data and too much information. It's a game of cricket. You 1-0 up. You know what? How are you, Jimmy Anderson? I'm all right. Go again. Josh Butler, can you just play us another week? Yeah, I'll play another week. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. I just think they've made too many changes. It's just a little bit too scientific for me. Like it was almost, you mentioned it in Sri Lanka. I think when Johnny played well in the Fest, I thought, well, I hope that, considering keeping him for the first 2 Test matches in India now, because he's playing so well. England need a number 3. Give him another run in the team. He's only just back into the Test team, but it was already set in stone of what they were doing. And I think that's the issue with all this, that because it's been set in stone of who's missing what when, but you've got to be reactionary to the series that you're involved in. And such a big series like India away, I just think they've been a little bit too scientific with it all. It could have been that someone like Jos Buttler misses the one days and T20s.
Yeah.
He's going to play loads of cricket in these conditions in the IPL. So it's not that Jos Buttler needs lots of T20 cricket. He's such a good T20 player anyway, and 50-over player. So it has been a little bit confusing. But I do think you could argue whatever the England team that they'd put out this week, playing this Indian side, having lost the toss on this wicket, it may not have made a massive difference. But I'm all for team. When you get a team playing like a team and like the team that they have been playing for the first 3 games, 2 in Sri Lanka and the first Test in Chennai, bit old school, I'd have carried on with the majority of that team unless they were injured. Poor shot, batsman. Poor mindset, poor technique. Yeah. Even dancing down the over before, and he whipped one pass straight mid-on for 4. I was like, why are you getting that side of the ball? You're hitting against the turn. You want to teach young players to play both sides of the wicket against a spinning ball, but things have to be in your favour if you possibly can get it into your favour. The pitch really is a talking point because it's not been prepared to last 5 days, and that's the only talking point. And we know, Aggers, from being here in the UK, that we've done similar things over the years. It's not that we're just saying India are the only team that do it. We've been guilty of preparing green tops that's not right,
and being critical of having done it too. So
yeah, correct. That's what it is, and it's just when you target or question things that happen differently in India, they take it personally, and they take it that you're attacking the nation. It's not that at all. It's just trying to look after Test match cricket. And if Test match cricket wants to carry on being a 5-day format, well, you've got to prepare wickets that last 5 days. And that's what I've found quite ironic, that a lot of journalists actually are all 4 or 5 day Test match cricket. I completely get that, but a lot of those journalists are now saying that this pitch is fine. I'm saying, well, that can't be right, because this is a pitch that's not going to last 5 days, but you want 5 days of cricket. So got to be careful. It's not been a great Test match wicket, but India have got better skilled players, better spinners and better batters that can cope with the spinning ball, and have just been a better team this week, and a more galvanised, ruthless, in the England team's faces team, which I expect India to carry on for the last 2 Test matches. And I totally agree. You look at it in all the different first-class structures around the world that you have that. In county cricket here, if you prepare a substandard wicket, you get penalised for it. I mean, I'll just keep saying it. Well, whatever Test match cricket is 5 days, unless a team plays appallingly, and there will be arguments saying, well, wait a minute, England have played appallingly. That's why the game's only going to last 3 days in a session. But let's be honest, if India had declared it probably an hour in today's play, they'd have won inside 3 days quite comfortably. It's not a pitch that's been prepared for 5 days, and that's my issue with it. And we are as guilty as any in this country of doing a very similar thing, preparing a green top, preparing something that suits the English seamers with the duke ball, and the Test match finishes quickly because of it. So we're as guilty as any team in the country that tries to get away with it, but it doesn't stop us being able to say, wait a minute, this week the Test wicket has not been a good one for Test match cricket, because it's not been prepared to last 5 days.